Thank you, ladies, for being here today. So this panel this morning is Mothering Through the Seasons. As you can tell, we have a very represented, and the point of this morning is really to kind of give a snapshot or dip our toe into the testimony of some of these amazing moms, where they are at now, where they've been, some of the things they've been through. So you're not going to hear the whole big story behind their lives. So you're going to be hearing little bits of their testimony. I would encourage you, if something really speaks to you today and you have a question, follow up with them and say, hey, can you share more with me about what was going on in your life at this time? And because there's a wealth of just story and testimony represented right here this morning. So also we want to say, we recognize that Mother's Day for everyone is not a day of celebration. It's also a day that can be full of grief. There's loss. There's it can be coupled with sorrow. So we want to recognize that this morning as well. That not everyone comes in here this morning going, "Yay, Mother's Day!" Sometimes we're carrying grief, and so we want to recognize that and honor that this morning. If that's you, we want to value that place that you're processing. That a lot of these women have also processed as well. So. We just want to say thank you for being here today. Can you guys welcome again these amazing ladies? Y'all look so pretty. We just have a couple questions that we're going to be asking these ladies this morning. And so you're going to get a real treat here. We're going to start with Miss Casey God Connect right here to my left. Casey is a mother of 5 girls. Yeah, like she deserves like a huge, exactly. Like it should be like a standing ovation or something, I don't know. Casey's amazing, and your daughters range from, is it 6 to 14? 16, that's right, 16 to 6. Okay, so as you are raising 5 daughters with varied ages, what are you finding as your biggest challenge or challenges in this season, and how's God meeting you there?
So first of all, I just want to say I looked over and everyone has like notes on their lap, and I'm like, oh, I feel very underprepared. So 5 girls at home, it's everything you think it would be. It's screaming and crying and playing, and then they're fighting and everything. So, I mean, the major challenge is just that everyone's into something different. I mean, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, like finding a movie for everyone to watch that everyone wants to see. Or, having to switch gears between high school drama to now you're having to praise a kindergarten artwork to, now this girl has to go to soccer or whatever. And it's just everyone's doing their own thing. And I think it's the shifting gears between I see you and I see what you're doing and I see you and I see what's going on with you and your friends. And it is very chaotic, but it's beautiful. And I think where Jesus meets me is that he highlights for me the beauty in, the fact that my high schooler's rolling her eyes at me, to now I can turn around to my 6-year-old and she is obsessed with me and just wants to be hang out with me and talk to me and tell me everything. And so just being able to, I feel like God opens my eyes to like how funny my 12-year-old is in any given moment, or how my 10-year-old just is so snuggly all the time and she just wants to squeeze me amidst the chaos. And so I feel like, it's just God showing me the beauty in it all, because it is chaotic.
That's a good way to put it, chaotic beauty.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. That's loud. Next, we have Kristen here. She is a single mother of precious 7-year-old Adelia. So I just want to ask you, how do you do it all? How have you found strength, wisdom, support to raise your child as a single parent? I'm sure it's a lot, but also so beautiful at the same time. So if you could share a little bit about that.
Sure. And, people are single for many reasons, but I'll share mine is I had to seek safety for my daughter and myself due to abuse. I didn't know I was going to get so emotional. I practiced this a million times. So that's where we are. but how I do it all would be through groups, the community, and through prayer. And the group that I attended actually was through Emmanuel Faith. They started a Safe at Home group, and it was very secret. It was a place where we would go and we would meet. There was about 10 of us who were all struggling with the same issues in our families. And I found a lot of support through them. And we were a band of 10 women that still, after 6 years, text each other. And they're prayer warriors, so I know that if I need anything prayer-wise, I just go straight to them, and it's amazing. My community, my daughter, we live in an apartment, so she has a bunch of friends, and I befriended the moms. And so if I need help, like with my dog or something, I can just text or call them, and they're happy to go help me with that. I'm blessed to have my family nearby. God has opened up many doors for us to stay here. So being single in California is definitely a struggle. But God met us in each step of the way and provided a home for us near my family. So that's amazing in itself. And then you guys, this church, I've had to ask for financial support previously, and you guys met me there, and it was a blessing for me and my daughter, so I appreciate that. And I don't know if she's so curious. And then prayer. I'm often just on my face before the Lord, praying that He would help me with all the demands that I have. And He is faithful to meet me and to help me prioritize. And step by step, we just get it done. And so, thank you.
And just thank you for sharing that. I know that's a vulnerable place. We want to really honor that. Oh, now I'm going to cry. Dang it. But if you have a moment, pull Kristen aside and ask if you're comfortable sharing her testimony, because it's a beautiful story of God, and she shared it with us when we all met together, of just literally coming to a place of like, I have no job, I have nowhere to live. Okay, God, what's the play here? And then God literally meeting every need, ticking every box. And so seeing her here today is literally a testimony of God's just faithfulness. So we're so thankful for that.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to hear from you, Kristen. Kathy, welcome. Thank you for being here. So you just had your parents move down from up north next to you. Crazy. So what do you feel like is your God-given assignment in this role as you have now your parents with you alongside your own family, your grandchildren, your children? How is that? What is that like?
Yeah, so I want to start by saying that I have a go-to verse, and I know it's written at least twice in the Bible, once in Exodus, and that's 20 verse 12, and then again it's in Ephesians 6:2, and I'd like to read that to you right now. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. So my mom was sharing with me. She's a person that's in her 80s, and she feels that society really devalues people of her age. She feels like they don't really want to hear what she has to say. Maybe what she's saying is old-fashioned or foolish. So I think a big part of honor is also respect. And kind of tying into respect is also love. And I'm sure all of you guys have heard this saying that love is spelled T-I-M-E, time. So a big part for me is being intentional with my time with my parents, inviting them over for dinner, including them in our family activities. And part of that, too, is listening to them. You know, I think all of us, when we feel like people hear us, we feel valued. And so with my parents, maybe all of you can agree with this, that they like to share stories and they like to reminisce, especially about old times. And so I never want them to feel rushed or interrupted. And so really taking time to sit with them, I think that's also a really big thing about honor and respect. And of course, that has to do with loving them too. One thing I just wanted to share is I haven't lived near my parents since I was 18. So once I went off to college, I haven't been near my parents all my adult life. So this is the first time that we're going to be living by each other. And so we're all going to have an adjustment to that, right? And they actually move in this week. So we'll be helping them with that. And so, yeah, it's going to be a wonderful, great new season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's really good. We have Janice here. Janice is an incredible lady. Her testimony that she shared with us is a testimony of processing grief. Janice lost her son, was it 11 years ago? And as we were talking together as women, kind of one of the things that was highlighted to me was, I think, and I mentioned this earlier, but sometimes the holidays can be really kind of laced with grief because of loss for whatever reason, whether it's broken relationship or a death or something that just never was. Oftentimes holidays can kind of have that ribbon of grief that goes through, and how do we deal with that? We don't want to just ignore it. We don't want to peace out on everything because we feel it. It's like, it's a huge thing that we all deal with to some degree or another. And Janice, if you could just share with us, how is it that you continue to find hope and even joy after what you went through with the loss of your son to where you are now? How did you get through that?
Hi there. Thank you, Cindy. And thanks for touching on that Mother's Day is a hard day for many of us because of loss. It could be from a loss of a child from conception on, or a loss of a relationship, like you mentioned. And so it's a bittersweet day. And I think, well, Cindy told you about our son, Hugh, that passed away tragically 11 years ago. And many of you here have been with us through this journey, and you've helped us, and I want to thank you for that. But it has been a process of learning to live with learning to live with the heartache that is always there and the void that's always there, but also have joy and have hope. And one of the things that God did for us, first of all, I have to mention we have a great blessing. Our son has a son, and his name is Hugh also, and he's 10 years old. He's going to be 11 years old. He was born 6 months after his daddy died. And so we have Hugh, and that was, for us and our family, that is just a testimony of God's love to us. So, but the Lord revealed to me probably 2, maybe 3 years into my journey of grief that I had allowed grief to take over a place in my heart, a lot of places in my heart, and fill the places that God needed to fill. And, you know, as always, it creeps in slowly. The evil one is right there. And this was my grief, and I was going to carry it, and nobody could tell me that I couldn't carry it. And I was very defensive about it. But God came to me, as he often does, in the middle of the night and showed me that grief was occupying a place in my heart that it wasn't meant to occupy, and that God needed that place back. And it was a hard realization to come to the fact that my grief had become an idol to me. But I confessed that, and I asked the Lord, you know, immediately to take that from me, and I began to surrender. And I still have to keep surrendering in a lot of different things. But one verse that's been it's been so special to me because I feel like it's for me. I know God's truth in this verse, and it's Isaiah 61, real familiar to a lot of you. But God has taken my ashes and He's made them something beautiful. And He has exchanged my mourning for joy and my garment of praise for my garment of heaviness, which is that grief, for a garment of praise. And I thank the Lord for that, and I can walk in that. And it continues to be a process, but today I think I balance so much better hope, joy, and heartache at the same time. And as we get older, folks, there's a lot more heartache that happens, a lot more losses. And God doesn't intend for those things to take over our life. That's not who we are. He has bigger and better plans for us. And so we just keep surrendering. I just keep surrendering to Him. So thank you.
That's really good. Thank you for sharing that. I love just that understanding that what we go through doesn't necessarily have to become our identity. It's a part of us, and it's a part of our story, and it's a part of our experience and our testimony, but it's not necessarily our identity. It's not all of it. That God defines our identity, not our experiences alone. So thank you for sharing that, Janice. Pat Close, she is a grandma. She's also my mom. So a lot of kudos. She raised 3 strong-willed children, and
just like me.
Just like you. And was it 8? How many grandchildren? 8 yeah, so many grandkids. Your role as a grandmother is obviously different than a parent. I know a lot of grandparents are also parenting as well their grandkids. That's a very common thing we're seeing in this day and age. But your role as a grandparent is a little bit different than it was raising us. You're a lot more fun. I'm just going to say that right now. She's like the funnest grandma ever. What do you feel like is your kind of God-given assignment as a grandma in this season of your life?
Well, she's right. It's fun. Well, I have 8 grandchildren that range in age from 14 to 34. And that's a pretty diverse group with a lot of different interests, what they like. And even before becoming a grandparent, it was going to be serious business for me. And I really investigated what kind of person I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, not only to my children, but to my grandchildren. And I wanted to be that kind of person that could come alongside and lift the load. Not that they're a load, but that they knew they could go places and Grandma would be there. I mean, planes go everywhere. But even before I moved here in October, the Lord started ministering to me that it was going to be a season of transition. Now, there's that period where you assist in childcare. I don't call it babysitting because you don't babysit family, but helping with their childcare and in entertaining them. You'd feel like a social director on a cruise ship. And then, like somebody mentioned earlier, an Uber driver to the beach and to the skate parks. I know where far too many skate parks are. And now in this season, just in this last year, we've had 2 weddings. We have a new driver, and life has seriously changed. Their interests have changed. And there are really 3 things that I think the Lord prepared me for coming down here. And one of them is to be flexible. And as you get older, that can be a little bit more of a stretch. But to be flexible because they're changing, their interests are changing, and also availability. To just be there for them and listen, like hearing, and what you said, Kathy, was so important, time, that you have time for them. And then finally is intentionality, that you have to carve out those times intentionally because they have so many interests. And I want my grandchildren to know that they're important to me, and they're fun. We have so much fun together.
It's really true. She lets them drive her car. The non-driving kids. Just going to say that. Thank you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Somebody's got to do it.
She is fun. She is a fun grandma. All right, Casey, back to you. I always, as a mom of a few kids, I've always appreciated like life hacks. When I learn a life hack that makes my life easier, I like share it with the world. So do you have like any mom like life hacks, like something that's made your life easier, something that you do that you're like, got this, that you could share with us?
So I don't know if these are really hacks, but I know we do them, and it just makes life easier. So, and I'm just trying to think of like things that people see as they do life with me, and like, oh, you do that or you do this. So in my truck, I have this aftermarket rear view mirror, and it's like a bus mirror essentially, but it's so I can see out the back window, but I can also see everyone's faces. Like also, like that helps for when they're like, she hit me, and I'm like, I see you. And then I don't know if anyone has ever made lasagna in a crock pot, but it tastes just as good. It's incredible. You come home, it's lasagna ready. Oh, and if you use a crock pot, use the crock pot liners. I don't know if anyone doesn't use them, but you must. You must. And the last thing is, like, of course, laundry never stops. Socks. Like, there's no way I am finding everybody's socks and, like, this is yours, this is yours. So all socks are, like, put into a laundry basket. I mean, it's like, and there's just a basket of socks. Go find your own socks. And everybody's socks are in one place.
I have been doing it wrong all this time. Socks is a major issue when you have a lot of kids. That's a major thing. I just feel like I need a moment to just take this in. And thank you. That's amazing.
And I love the lasagna crock pot, Mom.
Yeah.
We'll have to make that sometime. Yeah, tonight. Yeah. And back to you, Kristen. I remember when we were talking as women, and we were talking about just the different seasons you guys are going through, and there was a certain way that you said you find joy in this season of spending time with your daughter. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I would just say that I find joy with being present with my daughter. So if I find myself thinking about all the things I need to do and the demands and just far out into the future, things that are in my head, I'm irritated, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and she's telling me stuff, and I'm just like, oh. But if I can put those to the side and just be in the moment with her, I find that she's fun, she's creative, she's just smart, and that brings me joy when I actually stop and really be present with her.
I remember you saying you love Legos. You love doing Legos with her. That was one of the things, right?
One of the things.
Yeah. One of the many things, but I loved that. And then back to you, Kathy.
Yeah.
In this, as they just moved down this week, what is something that you're learning in this season, I guess, that you've maybe even learned this week as they've been here?
Right. So the first thing that comes to my mind is patience. And so I have learned, from them selling their house to buying a new house down here, trying to find a place, and all of those in-betweens, right? Moving is stressful for anybody, let alone two people who are in their 80s, right? So what I found works to help with my patience is having a timeout. And sometimes when I've been with my parents, I'll be right back. And I leave the situation, and I go and take some deep breaths, I pray, and I can come back to it. The other thing that the Lord has put on my heart is that it's not all on me. I feel like I can kind of, my own fault, take it all on, right? It's all my responsibility. And the Lord has said, that's just not true. You have a community, and so I have my siblings, I have my husband and my 2 adult daughters, and so the Lord has really told me that it's okay to ask for support, and it's okay to ask for help. So, yeah.
That's good. That's hard to do. Yeah, if you're not someone that likes to ask for help, that's hard to do. Right. And the timeout thing is good. We call that de-escalation in our house, like where you just have to pull yourself out and so you don't come at someone at a level 10, but you can be more reasonable. That's good. Give yourself a timeout. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Janice, I don't know if you mind sharing, when we got together, you share with us a little,
Go ahead, Cindy, but
I just thought this was too
really
funny. I'm sorry. You had a funny coping mechanism? Do you want
I
to share
did,
that?
and I wasn't going to share this.
Oh.
I shared it
I
once.
can ask a different question.
I thought you were going to ask about,
Yeah.
what people can do for somebody
Yeah,
that's
well,
grieving.
that's actually where I wanted to get to too.
Okay.
That's for yeah.
A coping mechanism. I'm really kind of embarrassed to share this, but it is part of my story, and I wasn't prepared to share it again. But for some reason, I started smoking after Hugh died, and I would sit on my back patio and smoke, but I didn't want to smell like smoke. And so I had this ritual where I put on a bathrobe, a ski hat, and gloves, and I sat out on the back patio and I smoked. And I looked ridiculous, and everybody thought I was ridiculous. My husband would just look at me and go like, but again, that was me, like, I guess just maybe dwelling in my grief or something. I'd sit out there, and it was my way of rebelling and saying, I can just sit here and smoke if I want to, and I don't care if it's bad for me. I want to do it, and I'm going to smoke, so don't say a thing to me. But so that was kind of fun. It was kind of funny that I did that, and I did stop smoking just as abruptly as I started smoking, and that was probably right around the same time as when God asked me to surrender that grief to Him. So, Cindy, I thought you were going to ask me too also about things to do for somebody that's grieving, and honestly, it's hard for me to even answer that, even though I've been through it, because grieving, there's really nothing you can do to take away the heartache that person is experiencing, and yet you want to. Because you're compassionate people and you want to help take that away, and there's nothing you can do. So I think the biggest thing for me that made a difference, and I'm a people person, is I wanted people around me, the ministry of presence, and not so many words or to try to fix it, or I'm praying for you, or God still loves you, or you can feel good because Hugh's in heaven. It was just like ministry of presence, and we had that. So many of you and so many of our friends just came and sat at our house and got up and cooked a meal. I had a girlfriend one time, like early on, that I remember came with all her stuff to cook persimmon cookies. She had a basket of persimmons. Like, she goes, I got to cook cookies, and I'm going to do it at your house all day. It was awesome. And another girlfriend that used to stop by in the morning, because I was usually in the bathtub, and she would have her cup of coffee and just sit next to me in the bathtub. So that is the ministry of presence, and not so much just asking. For me, I loved people that just showed up and were there. So
That's beautiful.
anyway.
Thank you for sharing that. I was listening to someone this week sharing on a podcast about grief, about losing her husband, and she said something that's meant so much to her is when people remember them fondly and share their good memories, like not to pretend like they didn't ever exist, but to share. I remember when so and so did this. That was so special. I remember when they and to bring up those good memories and to share them, rather than pretending like they weren't there, but really celebrate their life.
And that goes on. It's been 11 years for me, for us, our family, but even yesterday was my son's birthday, his 35th birthday, and he has a twin sister, Elise, and we still sing happy birthday to Hugh and Elise. And I got so many texts from people and calls just saying, thinking about you today. Because the anniversaries are hard, the birthdays are hard. They are. So, and to use their name, it doesn't matter if we cry, we're probably going to cry. And that's okay, and just be comfortable in it. You're not going to, just be comfortable with it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Grandma Pat. I call my mom Grandma Pat. She's Grandma Pat. What do you love most about being a grandma to your stellar, amazing grandkids?
You know,
What do you love most?
actually, funny you should ask. I was thinking about this yesterday. Maybe a week or so ago, Cindy and John were sharing that their second son, Aiden, who's turning 20 tomorrow, what he wanted for his birthday was to jump out of an airplane. And I don't like heights, and we were invited to come and join them. And as, you know, there were so many people there, and all these people are dropping from the sky. And I felt better once that's John. there's Aiden, and what was his friend's name? Micah. Well, Aiden was the last one to come down, and I can't tell you the relief I felt when I identified those white tennis shoes. And to watch them dangling through the sky, it's such joy to see your grandchildren not only becoming the people God wants them to be, but their diverse interests and being a part of that. Watching them have a good time and watching them fulfill their dreams, there's just nothing better. It's exciting.
Thank you. And watching them hit the ground was the best because they're back on the ground, yeah. Can you give these ladies a hand? Thank them this morning. We're going to invite John back up to close out the service, but we just want to thank you ladies for sharing. And again, this is just a tiny little dip your toe into their testimonies. I encourage you to come and talk with them if you have questions or you want to share. But thank you. We really appreciate you ladies being here this morning.
Wow, I am so ministered to by you guys. Not only did I not have to do a message, but you guys each preached a sermon that I think we're not going to forget because it came out of your life, and those really are the best messages. I was thinking as you guys were talking about Mary and how 2 times Mary, the mother of Jesus, says that she pondered these things in her heart, both the wonderful things that they were prophesying about how Jesus was going to change everything, and also the horrendous and hard things when it said literally a sword will pierce your heart because of what your son is about to go through. And I just love the grace that you guys modeled here today for being able to hold both of those things. That word in Greek for pondering is kind of like taking pieces of a puzzle and putting it together, and over time you begin to see the picture. And what you guys did today was, I think, for all of us, male or female, young or old, single, married, it doesn't matter. You guys have taken pieces, really painful pieces, really joyful pieces, and you've helped us to see the picture of how Jesus is putting things together. And I'm so very grateful for each of you. In fact, I'd like to ask each woman to stand here as we close in a blessing over your life. Every woman, no matter what age, whether you're a mother or not. And I know some of you guys are like, well, I'm not a mom or whatever. Listen, this day is for you. That's kind of what I wanted you to understand. This day is for you. Because whether you're a physical mom or not, every single one of you are spiritual moms. You are influencing people in your lives. People are looking at your example. And I know Proverbs 31 can sometimes be, if you've ever read it, maybe the bane of your existence. You read about this woman and all the things that she's doing, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I ever supposed to compete with all of that? But I want you to understand, Proverbs 31 isn't about accomplishments. It's about character. And what you guys have displayed today is character in the midst of the crucible, character in the midst of the hard times, when you feel like you're the only one going through what you're going through. And so, you guys, we're going to just bless them, and I'm going to bless them with Proverbs 31. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She's like a merchant ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work. She goes to inspect a field and buys it, and her earnings she plants a vineyard. She's energetic and strong and a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread and her fingers twisting fiber. She extends a helping hand to the poor. She opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. She makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city gates where he sits with other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And God, I just thank you that while the world is laughing, God, and trying to redefine what a woman is, God, we on this day get to affirm, according to your definition, that every woman in this room, God, is not laughing with cynicism or sarcasm at the future, but laughing with joy. God, joy even in the midst of the hardship and the pain. Even, God, though they're here and maybe life didn't go the way they were planning on it. I thank you, God, that we get to pray a blessing on each person here. God, because they're a part of our lives, God, whether through this church or relationship. God, we thank you that on this day, on this Mother's Day 2023, God, that you're filling them with a joy unspeakable and full of glory that will cause them to look at their future not with fear, but with faith and expectation. And we thank you for all that in the name of Jesus. And everyone said, Amen. Can we give these ladies a hand, you guys? Come on.